Thanks, Mark, for hosting tonight. Really appreciate that. And thanks, Jan, for doing sound.
Yes.
We love good sound people, and you're doing an awesome job. And thanks to Tay for giving me the gift of going second. I really appreciate that. It's nice to have an audience that's a little warmed up. So I loved his stuff. Very funny, good, upbeat, lighthearted stuff. So, of course, I'm starting my set with, like, my folkiest kind of, like, minor chord songs. So here we go. This is an old one, but I started writing it actually in 2019 because I was kind of disillusioned with how the world was, and hoping that we would turn things around sooner than later, but it doesn't quite seem like we've done that. It seems like maybe we just keep on going. But anyway, it's the song is called Tell Me Please. I wish it still wasn't relevant, but it seems like it is. And anyway, that's what it is. Here we go. These days we're making lots of enemies. Pick it apart until we see where we disagree. Scan the scenery, it's us versus them. So many problems, so many dead ends. Can we turn this thing around? Plant our feet on common ground before it's too late. Step by step, you know it counts. Looking out for middle ground. Is that really out of reach? Somebody tell me, please. There really is no black and white. Solve a problem, there may still be things to dislike. All or nothing, now progress lost its place. Vanished long ago, is it gone without a trace? Can we turn this thing around? Plant our feet on common ground before it's too late. Step by step, you know it counts. Looking out for middle ground. Is that really out of reach? Somebody tell me, please. Please. Somebody tell me, please. Can we turn this thing around? Plant our feet on common ground before it's too late. Step by step, you know it counts. Looking out for middle ground. Is that really out of reach? Is that really out of reach? Somebody tell me, please. Tell me, please. So yeah, these first two songs are like my super folky songs. I'm a folk artist, so that's kind of appropriate. But some of them are a little more, I don't know, upbeat. This one came from in October. I was taking a walk with one of my neighbors in Zionsville. I'm so lucky I have such lovely neighbors. It's one of the things that's so nice about being back in Indiana is just how friendly everyone is. And so my neighbor calls me up often and asks me if I want to go for a walk. And so we went out for a walk. And she stopped and she found one of these kindness rocks. Are you familiar with those? Like people paint them and then they put little phrases on them and then they leave them on a path. So she found a kindness rock and it said, "We are not divided, we're being divided." And I thought, wow, I mean, there's a statement, right? And as all songwriters do, when you hear something, right, it sticks in your craw. So we got back from the walk and I did what I love to do when I'm pondering something. I get my journal out and I started writing about that. I just wrote the phrase down, "We are not divided, we're being divided." And the first thing I wrote down is that true? Is that really true? I don't know. And then I started writing all kinds of other things about like questions, right? Like, is this true? Is that true? And I got to thinking, sometimes solutions don't come from having the answer. It just comes from having the best question, and asking the right question. And I feel like we don't ask that one enough. Is it true? You hear something inflammatory and you jump right on it instead of stopping and saying, hold on, wait a second. Especially about people we don't know and people we have no clue what their lives are like. We've never been to where they live. And so that's where this song came out of. And then I have some kindness rocks over there that Jan is modeling for me. Thank you, Jan White. My nephew painted those for me, and I wrote on them from the song. So if the song speaks to you and you would like to place one of those kindness rocks in somebody's path, please do. Check out the table over there. So this is called Is It True? You hear what they're telling me about you. Is it true? The dust from your sidewalks and your streets has never touched my shoes. Never heard your laughter, I don't even know your name. But the echo in my chamber keeps saying you're to blame. But is it true? Is it true? I just don't know who to believe to find out, is it true? Distorted headlines, tailored feeds, everyone has their proof. Walls are made of mirrors, reflecting what we say, till we start believing ours is the only way. But is it true? Is it true? They sell us fear in different colors, call it faith or even news. They draw the lines and name them holy, and then they tell us we must choose. What if we're not divided, but we're being divided? What if we're not divided, but we're being divided? Is it true? Is it true? What if we're not divided? Thank you. All right. So this next one is off of my album, Lost and Found. I released it last September. It was my first solo album. I've done albums in a band that I was in New York, but this was my first solo album, and I'm really proud of it. It debuted at number 7 on the folk charts, and so I'm so grateful to the folk DJs who all gave it spins, and to everyone who listened, and for everyone who really, more important than any of that, was for people who came up to me and had conversations with me about the music and what it meant to them. So that album, Lost and Found, is really, it was an exploration of the unknown in ourselves and in the world around us, which leads to a lot of super uncomfortable places when you start to poke at the unknown spots in your life. Like, we don't like those spots so super much. We don't like living in the unknown. We don't like gray spaces. We don't like any liminal anything. But they are the places that I think foster the greatest creativity, and that's where innovation comes out of. And so it's important for me, anyway, to be able to hold that tension and live in those spaces, even though it's super hard. I have a hard time doing that. So I wrote that album, and that's what that's about. This particular song on the album actually came from a photo right here in Indiana when I still lived in New York. So sometimes, I don't know about my other songwriters in the room, but sometimes a melody will come to you, you'll find something on your guitar, and it just sounds real pretty, and that's what happened with this. I was messing around with some alternative tunings, and I found this, and I was like, ooh, gosh, you're real pretty, what are you? And that sounds weird, but I do talk to my songs and ask them to tell me what they are. This one was not giving it up, and so I took a little break from it, and while I took my break, my friend sent me a photo of a sunset from his street that night that was so gorgeous. It washed everything, the houses, the street, the sky, everything was purple, gorgeous. And so I started writing about that and what I was seeing, and then also thinking about what a hard time that my friend had been through and what a refuge that this place was for him. And so it made me think, all of it just kind of came together. The idea of lavender, a place of tranquility and calm. And so this is Lavender Road. We but heartbreak through that door. That sad and scary year. It was too real to ignore. We couldn't stop the tears. Oh, God must have seen that we needed a healing place to rest from all our burdens and unload the heavy weight. We were looking for an answer, so every night we prayed and held on to each other to wash it all away. Wash it all away. Ooh, Lavender Road, place that feels like home. Lavender Road, where everything belongs. Lavender Road, it's so calm. Lavender Road. The street was slick with rain. Something pulled us all outside. We were radically amazed. It's still hard to describe. Darkness at our feet, the beauty in the sky, a fiery-fingered sunset trying to hold off the purple night, and above our heads a cloud shaped like a comet caught my eye. moving on to like faster, funner stuff. Okay, that was all my folky, slow folky stuff for you. So my album is out anywhere you stream music. So if you're finding yourself in a spot where you want a little companion in the unknown, it's there for you. Called Lost and Found once again. And thanks again to HOOMAC for organizing this evening. It's so nice. Everything that HOOMAC does for original artists in Indiana is really incredible. I mean, for people who are here enjoying this, it's nice for you guys, but for the artists, it's really great because it gives us a chance to play these showcases, and they keep us informed about other things that are going on and other places to play. And they organize things at these conferences we go to, and it's a lot of work. So I just want to give a big shout out to JC and the whole team and Jan, and I mean just everybody who just does so much for HOOMAC. It's a lot of work, and it's really, it's appreciated. So thank you, HOOMAC, for this opportunity. And thanks to Sleepers for hosting this, because this is a fun little bar they're playing, isn't it? Absolutely. So this next song is a song called Bad Enough. And it came from an experience with a friend of mine who, I'm kind of straight-laced. I don't know if you can tell that or not. I like to follow the rules. That's what makes me feel comfortable. And so I have friends that like to help me step out of those bounds sometimes, which is good. It's good for me. So I ended up writing this song after a weekend where a friend was helping me, break a few rules and step out of my comfort zone, which is good. But it was, it made me think of this show, Yellowstone. Did anybody watch Yellowstone? Yeah. Yes, there we go. So there was a phase when Yellowstone was out where every female wanted to date a cowboy. It was like, oh my God, I want a cowboy. I want to date a cowboy. And I thought, you're crazy. Like, those cowboys are always fighting, and like, I'm not so sure that that's what I want. And so I kind of took those two ideas of, like, I don't want a cowboy, right? I don't want somebody who's gonna like literally start a bar fight right here. But I want somebody that's bad enough just to help me, step out of my comfort zone. So that's where this song came from. It's just kind of a fun little song about that. Yellowstone cowboy tearing up the night, but I need a little wild side, a little sweet, a little spice. You know all the rules, boy, and how to break them all just right. Love the little devil in your eye, and you got me thinking you're just bad enough to be good for me. It's not a game we're playing, but it's sure fun to roll the dice. Leave your cards safe on the table, still take a chance once or twice. Like the way you tease me and get me on the ride to see a kaleidoscope of colors, blurring all the lines, and you got me thinking you're just bad enough to be good for me. Ooh, hold on tight. I'm gonna hold on tight. Ooh, 'cause you're bad enough to be good for into fights. I'll defend my honor. Walk through life with my head high, but I need a little wild side. And boy, you're doing it just right. I love the little devil that's twinkling in your eyes. You got me thinking you're just bad enough to be good for me. You got me thinking you're just bad enough to be good for me. Ooh, hold on tight. I'm gonna hold on tight. Ooh, sometimes you have to do that. You have to take yourself out of your own comfort zone as other people help you do the same thing. So that's good. 2 more. Great. Perfect. That, again, just like Tay. Exactly what I had on my sheet. Look at that. It's like we planned it. All right. So this next song is really dedicated to every person who is a creative person, which is every person in this room, because we're all always co-creating our lives. But it was inspired by one creative person in particular, who happens to be my daughter. She is graduating from college in a month. Ooh, crazy. Actually, in a couple weeks. Nuts, I know. My high school girlfriends back there, and we're like, how? Wait, what? We went to college together, and like, no. But yeah, our kids are graduating. And so she is a creative writer. So she went to school for creative writing, literature, and publishing. And when she was deciding to like really double down on that talent, she's a talented writer and reading is her thing. And when she decided I'm gonna go for it, it took her a while to like get to that spot where she was comfortable. And I think most musicians probably feel that way, and most artists feel that way, where it's like it takes a bit to say, yeah, I am a musician, or I am a writer, or I am a whatever. And part of the challenge of that is because there is no straight line in front of you. Like, there's no laid out path that tells you how to do this thing or how it's gonna work, or what the steps are. And when you're 18 years old looking at schools and college and your friends are pre-med and pre-law and think they have it all figured out, and your path is so fuzzy, you know, it's easy to kind of say, you know what, no, I'm not gonna do that. That's what I did. I was a musician all growing up. Rachel knows. And what did I do? Sam Heine, welcome, welcome.
How are you?
You get a special shout out right from the microphone.
Sam.
Sam, hey Sam. Everybody say hey Sam. Hey Sam. And so I gave it up when I went to college. I just thought, this is not the path. I have to do something serious. And so I gave up music, and I didn't get back into it for 18 more years. Kind of crazy. 18 years I was a musician, 18 years I wasn't. And it was precisely because I thought there was no utility in it, which is crazy, because art in and of itself is utility. Just creating the art is utility. And the reason it is because people who don't have straight lines defined in front of them are the ones who find new paths and open new doors, and new things happen. And they're the ones who do something very important that we need more people to be doing right now, and that is the hook of this song. So I'll let it speak for itself. Drop my volume up and She don't wake up with crack of morning light. Don't spring out of bed, don't really have go get 'em fight. Knows her hair is tangled, but she don't really care, don't really care. Can't let go of yesterday's troubles and regrets. They clog her mind and choke her throat and burn like cigarettes. They tell her that there's something wrong, these things they aren't clear, then they should be clear. But there's more than one way through this life, more than one straight line to a single door. No, she doesn't see it yet, 'cause untamed life's what she's made for. She can take a simple thread and she can spin a yarn, weaving dreams from whispers, lighting fires in the dark, lighting fires in the dark. The answer seems so far away, doesn't know that what she needs is always near. She doesn't like the winding road and all the hidden monsters that live there. They bare the teeth and tell her that she's doing it all wrong. She's not doing it all wrong. 'Cause there's more than one way through this life, more than one straight line to a single door. Though she doesn't see it yet, 'cause untamed life's what she's made for. 'Cause she can take a simple thread and she can spin a yarn, weaving dreams from whispers, lighting fires in the dark. She lights fires in the dark. Ooh. But there'll come a day when she knows she's enough, and she'll let her spirit roar. It shall burn a hole right through the wall and make a brand new door. 'Cause there's more than one way through this life, more than one straight line to a single door. Now she finally sees it, this untamed life's what she's made for. She can take a simple thread and she can spin a yarn, weaving dreams from whispers. She lights fires in the dark. She lights fires in the dark. Ooh, in the dark. Lighting fires in the dark. Ooh. All right. Okay. Last one. Okay, so I was lucky enough to play, in March, I played a gig in Madison, Indiana. It was part of their Hoosier Heroine Celebration Weekend. And they had all kinds of things happening all weekend long, celebrating the spirit of the Hoosier Heroine. And I thought, man, that is a really great idea, right? And I really wanted to write a song about it. As soon as I knew, they hired me last fall for it. And I thought, ooh, I'm gonna write a song about that. But I wasn't sure what I was gonna weave it around, what was the crux of my song gonna be about. And Was it going to be generic? Was it going to be specific? And then I remembered a book that I read in 2024 called Fever in the Heartland. Has anybody read that? Highly recommend. It's by Timothy Egan. He's a Pulitzer Prize winning author. And he wrote, it's a true story about a woman named Madge Oberholzer and how she kind of single-handedly, although I'm sure lots of things were conspiring at the same time, but it was her testimony that took down the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah, and so they recently had a display about her at the Indiana Historical Society, which I had just missed. I didn't get there fast enough to see it. But the whole idea of Madge Oberholzer is that she was the most ordinary, just the most ordinary person. She lived in Irvington, and I'm pointing to my friend Rachel because she grew up in Irvington, and we tromped around Irvington all through high school. And did you ever hear of her?
I didn't know, but I heard of the house.
You heard of the house? Okay, yeah, the D.C. Stevenson's house, right? We didn't hear of her, right? So I wanted to write this song to be a spotlight on her, and I did it for that heroine weekend. But still, I feel like she's a great example of, she was one person, right? And we think sometimes we are facing insurmountable things. Like, who am I? I can't. If somebody had turned to her and said, you're going to bring down the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, she probably would have been like, you're out of your freaking fracking mind. Like, what are you talking about? I can't do anything. She taught adult education literature. Like, I'm sure she was not a political activist. But it is a great example of the power of one person. And so this song is dedicated to Madge Oberholzer. It's called Fever in the Heartland. Thank you guys so much for coming out and listening to original music and supporting HOOMAC and supporting Sleepers. And again, thanks so much. I'm Becki Davis. I've got a sign-up sheet over there if you want to stay in touch via email. I have business cards and everything. And I'd love to chat with you after. So thanks again for coming. She did things girls didn't do. Didn't want a wedding ring, instead she went to school. There was no way she could know what her future had in store. Teaching men to read the words the ones in power ignore. She wasn't on a mission to fight some grand crusade. until her dying day. And when the moment found her, simple truth was all she knew. And it was more than enough to do what no one else would do. There was a fever in the heartland, and the man